Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming, and some of you on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of A Fall from Grace. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go! I think, because when I had saved it, it was October 12th. Okay, I think I'm right here where I need to be. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, alright. Cedric didn't properly wake up till noon the next day, and once he did, he wasn't surprised to discover he had a hangover. Luckily, it wasn't half as bad as he expected it to be. Maybe I already did this one. Load. Okay. Save. Autosave. Yeah. 1 second, y'all. Let me see. Here, 1 second, y'all. Alright, y'all. I found the save. Let's go. I know why I've chosen it. That should be enough. The others all began to loudly voice their thoughts as Dion shushed them forcefully. Why didn't you choose any objects of value? I was following a different criteria. I concluded choosing the most valuable money-wise wasn't my safest bet. Oh, hold up. Let's try that one. Okay. An hour later, Cedric was busy reading the battered and stained pages of a play's rough copy as he sat on one of the logs near Hollis's carriage. This was the third test he'd been tasked with, to select a passage from the play named Ethelberta's Lament and reenact it before the others. Dion would then judge his performance. It was a completely over-the-top melodrama which had been penned by the hyena himself during his time as an actor. However, developing good acting skills doesn't instantly make someone a good writer, as Cedric had quickly realized upon beginning his read-through. He recalled enjoying himself during the amateur play as he and some of his other childhood friends would put on at the family estate. Those skills he thought he'd never have to use again could come in handy right now. The main issue was which scenes to choose. After some thought, the Coyote decided he'd reenact not one, but two separate monologues, one to show off his best attempt at acting in a natural and believable way, while he could just go completely ham on the other. He took a sip of the fresh drink Hollis had concocted for him, then he decided to search for Victor. He wanted to ask the fox to assist him as he rehearsed his scenes. He found him in Dion's tent, along with the hyena himself. Both seemed to be having a serious conversation, and for a moment Cedric worried he interrupted something important. However, the two eagerly greeted him, Dion asking how the reading was going, and Victor saying he was happy to assist him. As the two friends exited the tent and walked back to where Cedric had been sitting, the Coyote thought he'd be polite and ask Victor about earlier. I wasn't interrupting anything serious, was I? Oh, not at all. Just some news about recent goings-on and such. Let's just say there's a few old matters we need to iron out. You mean some kind of problem or bad news? I'd rather not talk about it right now, Cedric. This seemed to have hit a nerve with the fox, whose reply was short and cold. Alright, I didn't mean to upset you. Victor sighed as his tone grew calmer again. Don't apologize, it's fine. We'll just discuss this later on when I'm feeling up to it. Second now. This didn't help ease the Coyote's mind. All he could do at the moment was hope this matter wasn't as worrying as Victor was making it sound. It was likely he just owed Dion a favor or two, or perhaps the hyena had asked him to carry out a robbery he didn't want to go through with a while back. He still wasn't completely sure where the bandit stood on moral ground. They reached the log cabin, Cedric stopping before it with the script in his hands and Victor sitting himself down. Very well, so, I'm going to be reenacting two different scenes. Have a listen and then be as critical as you can. I need to get these down as well as possible. As you wish, my dear. The fox put his hands on one leg and crossed his fingers, giving Cedric his undivided attention. They went through both scenes, laughing along the way at Dion's writing, as the Coyote tried to play it completely seriously. Victor offered a few thoughtful suggestions, and Cedric soon felt the time had come for him to act in front of all the others. Once the whole group had gathered around him, it almost felt like he was gazing at a bunch of school kids sitting in a circle listening to their teacher recite a poem. The hyena cleared his throat in the dramatic manner Cedric had grown accustomed to and spoke. Fellows, our friend Cedric has now reached his third trial, which is all about acting. Ridley gave a sarcastic answer. What a surprise! Dion groaned. His and the bear's personalities often seemed to clash. Hush, Ridley, let's be serious for a moment. Cedric saw Blake give his companion a light and humorous flick to the back of the head. As a bandit, you'll have to lie your way through some very tough situations. Your acting abilities are the only skill that can save you in these situations. Our coyote friend will be reciting some passages from my old play, Ethelberta's Lament, a drama I penned during my last year of professional acting. It does a good job at displaying the emotions I, as well as my colleagues, and if I may be so bold, our whole community were feeling at the time. Cedric smiled at how important the hyena was trying to make his writing seem, as he and Victor shared a quick look. And thus I'll let you take center stage, Cedric. Show us what you've got. Applausi! The gang cheered as Cedric nervously cleared his throat. I'll be reciting 2 different scenes, with the intent of showing off a little versatility, or so I hope. The first one is Cassandra's monologue from Act 1. This was his chance at acting as natural as he could given the artificial style of the script. In said scene, the high priestess of the ancient Greek city the play was set in discussed the unreliability of prophecies. What? What point can there be in mortals relying on baseless prophecies to live their simple lives? Mental illusions or stratagems though they be, each father, mother, baker, miller, goatherd hailing from the general populace, nor even the learned men can do without them. He tried to give a soft emphasis to each word, making the description sound as if he were making them up on the spot. But alas, how often have these come true from said folk desperately attempting to avoid their fate? 'Twas the case with Oedipus, and so shall it be true for thee, Ethelberta. Shouldst thou try to discern another path to take as not to fall victim to the wrath of the gods? It was hard for Cedric not to smile at the sheer amount of terms such as thee and thou present in the text. Keeping his composure, he went on reciting undeterred. Thy love is true. The simplest fisherman or the mightiest philosopher would not hesitate to proclaim it so, but I grieve for thee and Phythercleon. It was also a challenge not to laugh at the ridiculous names Dion had given all the main characters in an attempt to sound Greek. Harder still when considering Ethelberta sounded like a name hailing from their very own Anglo-Saxon shores. I speak as a mother, though due to my vow, how could I ever be one? Even I, in my mighty wisdom, cannot but fall into the broad arms of that valley which is contradiction, the curse of all living creatures. We love, yet we hate. We're clever, yet we are ignorant. We're civilized creatures, yet we are beasts. Cedric pronounced these words with just the right amount of emphasis as he came to the end of the monologue. Dion was the first to clap, almost immediately followed by the others. Wonderful work, my lad, and very believable. It almost sounded like what he was saying made sense. Say that again, and you'll feel my fist, you brute. That was poetry, Cedric. Your fist? I didn't think you were the type, D. Victor demanded everyone's attention as the situation began to get out of hand. Quiet down. He still has one more scene to recite. The coyote raised his voice as he prepared himself for this last monologue. This is the final scene, in which the wealthy Ethelberta, who has been posing as a washerwoman, discovers the severed head of her forbidden lover, the fisherman Phythercleon, in a laundry basket. Cedric smiled as the ridiculousness of it all began to sink in. Dion didn't realize just how much lying this trial actually required, or perhaps that was the point. He cleared his throat as he was approaching the part he had decided to go all out on. He began by speaking loudly and moving his body and hands, captivating the attention of the bandits. Ah, can it be? Alas, those lips I would so sweetly touch are pale as a white, lifeless, cold, discarded. I am left to walk this earth alone for the rest of my days. What did I cause to deserve this? What heinous act could I have committed? I loved. I expressed the noblest emotion gifted to mortal beings. And for this I was cruelly punished. The world is evil and unjust, and what can we do but roam, hoping for a better future which will likely never come? I'm tired of playing along with this perverted plan of the gods. All I can do is make the only free choice I have left, to die. Not a common death. This is a noble passing in all its grace and simplicity, a cry of protest, a scream of withheld freedom. The last cry of hope there is. Cedric lowered his arms as he reached the end of the play. Second, y'all. Water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's jump right back into it, shall we? Okay. Alright. This section, for all its melodrama, was indeed very unique. Diam seemed to have discarded most of his flowery language, replacing it with what felt like a true cry of rage. The thoughts of someone who had never been allowed to be himself. Was this indeed the fate that awaited all who, like Cedric and the other bandits, dared to love or live differently? It couldn't be. The coyote knew. No matter how bad things could get, a hope for a better future is what keeps people going. It's what had forced him to make one of the toughest and best decisions in his life. The hyena walked up to him and shook his hand, speaking softly and honestly. You passed the test, Cedric. And I've matured since writing that passage. There is always hope. Never believe otherwise. Those who share our romantic or sexual preferences, as well as those who feel their own identity differs from folks' preconceived notions, might be unwanted outsiders to a larger society, but we always have a way of finding each other and getting stronger together. I wrote that before meeting any of you. I was tormented by guilt and anger at the fact I felt so shunned and completely alone. And now look at us, flourishing and building off each other's strength. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of who we are. Thank you, lads. He turned to the rest of the group as he raised an arm enthusiastically. We have a very talented new recruit with us. Cedric, all you have left is the last test which will now take place. Victor, if you please. The fox approached as Cedric eyed him with a surprised expression. He had no idea Victor was going to judge him last. Then again, he was the only member of the masquerade left, but what would Cedric have to do for him? Friends, I think it's quite obvious I am very fond of Cedric. That is why I offer this as his last test. Victor held out his gloved hand and revealed a meticulously folded piece of parchment. This is simply a good old game of fortune teller, which I've given a different spin. You'll pick 2 numbers, and I'll unfold this and tell you the answers. I have written all of our names in the various corners. If you manage to pick my name even just once, you'll have won the trial. Are you ready? Cedric nodded. There was no way he could prepare for this after all. Unless... He tried to remember. What was Victor's favorite number when they were kids? All right, pretty boy. Pick a number from 1 to 8. The coyote remembered how Victor used to call 1 the origin of everything. That was why he was always proclaimed it to be his favorite. Number 1. The fox's expression remained neutral as he unfolded the parchment, revealing his own name scribbled in ink. Congratulations, Cedric. You'd be a very lucky boy. Had I not written my name on each corner. Victor grinned as he flattened the parchment, displaying a total of 8 Victors written all over it. Hey, that's cheating! Cedric crossed his arms, playing along. He just likes you that much, Ced. I promise this isn't the case for the second turn. Ready? The coyote nodded as the fox pulled out the second and last folded scroll and held it firmly. This is your actual lucky guess. Pick a number. Cedric had no lead or clue he would use to discern the correct one out of them, so after some hesitation he decided to select the simplest option he had. I chose 1 before, so I'm going to say 2. Everyone waited with bated breath as Victor slowly unfolded the parchment. I can't look! There's no way I'd ever get that right! You never know, Sal. Just wait and see. The fox stood still for a couple seconds, displaying an unintelligible facial expression. I can't believe this. Cedric, you did it! You guessed right! Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there. Yeah, hey, it looks like you got it right. Alrighty, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if you want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our Safe for Work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!